Welcome to my channel Priyanka's Learn It Well. Let us take a quick start to the testing journey with the session on what is software testing. We will introduce software testing on the below lines. What is a software? What is software testing? Types of testing, testing methods, testing approach, and levels of testing. Let's begin. What is a software? Software refers to a set of instructions, programs, and data that tell a computer or an electronic device what really to do. We rely on software applications to perform various tasks from communication to entertainment to almost managing our entire day-to-day life. Uh, Taking an example, WhatsApp is a popular messaging and communication software application that allows user to send text messages, make voice and video calls, and share media files with other WhatsApp users. But how can we be really sure that the software we are using is functioning as intended? This is where software testing comes into play. Finding out how effective something is involves testing. Now let's look at what is software testing. Software testing is the process of evaluating software to find defects, errors, or bugs. Now, these terms, if you're not aware, we'll cover these in the upcoming sessions. Software testing is an essential step in the software development lifecycle that helps ensure the software meets its intended purpose and delivers a quality user experience. At the end, quality is the most essential part of any software development lifecycle. For example, a simple software testing example, if we have to take it, could be to test message sending and receiving in a WhatsApp, a software example that we took in the beginning, thereby checking whether the message that I am really sending is being delivered and being received in the timely manner by sending it. Taking a look at types of testing. So, software testing can be done manually or automatically. First, let's take a look at manual testing. As the name implies, manual testing is a sort of software testing where human testers execute testing manually without the use of automated tools or scripts. The tester manually examines all the software's features and functionalities, finds any defects or bugs, and then informs the development team so that they can be fixed. The next is automation testing. As the name suggests, again, software testing that employs automated tools and scripts to run test cases and scenarios is known as automation testing. An automated testing tool or framework is used to automatically execute the test cases rather than manually performing them. A very commonly used automation testing tool is Selenium. Testing methods. The testing methods are the two most widely used and confused concepts. Let us take the first method that accustoms to the question of am I building the product right and is called verification or static testing method. Verification is a static method of checking documents and files. Taking a look at the second method, addressing the question of am I building the right product and is called validation or dynamic testing method. Validation is a dynamic process of testing the real product. Let us now move to the testing approach. There are three approaches to testing: Whitebox testing, Blackbox testing, and Graybox testing. Let us take a look at each of these approaches in brief. Whitebox testing. Whitebox testing is also called as glassbox testing, clearbox testing, structural testing, or code-based testing. A glass is transparent and the internal structure and functionality can be easily viewed in a glass. In the same analogy, whitebox testing is based on the application's internal code structure. It is a technique that involves examining the internal working of a software application in order to identify errors, defects, or vulnerabilities. This type of testing is often used to test the functionality of individual modules, functions, or algorithms within a larger application. Coming down to the black box testing. It is also called behavioral specification based input-output testing. In a magic show, as an audience member, you do not have any knowledge of how the trick is performed. You can only observe the inputs, that is the hat, and the outputs, that may be a stack of cards, a rabbit, or a bird. Similarly, black box testing involves testing an application without knowledge of its internal working. Testers evaluate the inputs and output of the application without any knowledge of how the application process, or the data or performs its functions. We give the input and check the output in a black box testing. Let's move on to the gray box testing. As the name suggests, gray is a mix of white and black. Gray box testing is a software testing technique that combines elements of both white box testing and black box testing. It involves testing an application with some knowledge of its internal working, but without complete access to the application's source code and architecture. Moving on to the levels of testing. There are 4 levels of testing. Unit testing. Unit testing is done to check whether the individual modules of the source code are working properly. The name in itself suggests that it's a unit. So basically we are taking in individual modules into consideration. The next is integration testing, that involves evaluating the interface and communication between these individual components to make sure that they are working properly when they are integrated or combined. The next is system testing. System testing tests the overall functionality, performance, reliability, and other non-functional requirements of the system. Acceptance testing. At the end, we are making this product, the software, for the end user. Acceptance testing is the testing that determines whether a system meets the requirements and expectations of its stakeholder. Let's take a very simple example to understand these level on a high level. In a calculator application, unit testing could be used to test the functionality of individual methods or functions that perform specific calculation. For instance, you can try different addition combinations to verify the correctness of addition operation. If you add 2 plus 2, the answer should be 4. If you add minus 5 plus 7, it should give you 2. If you add 0 plus 0, it should give you 0. So trying different combination of test cases, you should get the result that you would get ideally when performing the addition operation. Moving on to the integration testing. In the same calculator application, integration testing could be used to test the interaction between different components of the application, such as the user interface, the calculation logic, and the memory function. For instance, consider a scenario where you are entering a series of numbers, performing different operations, and then clearing the memory, performing a new calculation, and it is still giving you the correct output. Moving on to the system testing. So system testing is testing the system on a whole, and in this calculator application, it could be used to test the application to ensure that it meets the requirement and specification set out for the application. And it would typically involve testing the application from an end-to-end perspective. For example, if you launch a calculator app, if you put it in the search bar, it should give you a calculator window, and then when you perform these operations, you are able to get the intended results. So it basically verifies that all components and features of the application work together seamlessly and as expected. Moving on to the acceptance testing, we have already discussed that it's an end user or a stakeholder based testing, and in a calculator application, it would typically involve testing the application with the focus of ensuring that it meets the need and expectation of the end user. So it should be able to perform addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, and all the operation that a calculator was expected by the end user. And this type of testing is obviously mostly done by the users, and they are the ones who are ultimately using the application and need to be satisfied with its application. That is all for the introductory session to software testing. For more such videos, stay tuned. If you like my channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.